Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Man United Agenda. It's Friday night, and it's Onana. What's my name? As always, guys, we are welcome with a fantastic panel. As always, we've got Jay and we've got OMONDI, but we're going to literally dig deep and find out what's going on at Manchester United. Everyone, welcome. Yes, everyone, welcome back to the Man United Agenda. And you know what? Backstage, I was trying to find the intro. It's been so long. I had to try and find the intro. On Monday, I had to tell them where the intro was. That's how long it is. And it's a good intro as well. Jay, as always, how we doing? I'm coming to you first, Jay, because normally, you know, we are the one that we're the part-timers. Monday is a full-timer. So we don't really need to know too much about Monday because he's here every day. We don't know nothing about me and you. So how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, man. It's good to be back on the channel. So you got yourselves a new intro as well, which is like it's good to see. Do you know what I mean?
That was the young one that did it. The other bald-head person that did that. No name.
Mr. B.
Yes.
Mr. Technical B.
Really?
Mark II. Yeah, he's advanced technology.
He's got his
nerd glasses on these days.
Yeah.
What? Hang on a minute. This is the same Mr. B we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Same guy that uses a calculator to try and turn over his telly. This guy, he's Mr. Technological now. He's doing graphic design, everything. Man, I have been away for a long time. It's all changed, man. It's changed on this gaff. I'm telling you. No, good to see you, man. It's been a little while, and I always love coming on this channel on a Friday night. It's always good vibes. Lads, I know we're gonna get into it, but just tired. I don't know. Well, I don't know if we're gonna get into it. I think I can see in the title there. I'm just tired of talking about this takeover with nothing happening, man. It's just like, come on already. When are the Glazers gonna go, man? I'm sick of saying like, oh, it looks like Sheikh Jassim, and 1 minute it's Jim Ratcliffe, now Sheikh Jassim. Now we're hearing that it's gonna be a done deal, and he's confident, and he's in the lead, and all this other stuff. Just want it done. Want the Glazers gone, and we can all move forward, hopefully.
You know, it's really funny with this back and forth news. I saw something on Twitter today about Jay's thoughts on De Gea.
Didn't you know what?
So funny. So in the space of a week, you've gone from David De Gea's club legend, blah blah blah, top man, and then the following week it's like,
honestly, you know what? Right? We did a thing because I don't even know. I haven't got any logic to it.
Did you endorse them to post it? Because that's really funny,
bro. Come on, man. I don't want to be that guy, but I own half the channel. Do you know I'm a part of the channel? They ain't doing anything without my say so. Come on, let's have it right. You know what I mean? If you want to keep the jobs, they're not doing that without the green light. Come on.
I saw it today, posted up, and I was going, hold on 1 second. Yeah, I was like, hold on 1 second.
They were like, Jay, I've got something to show you here. Like 1 week apart. I'm like, yeah, he's a legend. Next week, he's not a legend. And I was like, yeah. I asked for it. Do you know what I mean? Like, fair enough. But it's the nature of the beast. You know what? It's not just the David De Gea subject. You ask me on a lot of subjects. You catch me on a certain day and I'll say one thing on another, but I think it's one of those with De Gea. There was a lot of debating going on, even in my own head, to be honest with you. Like, is he a legend? Is he not? Do you know, how do you weigh it up? If you ask me tomorrow, you'll probably get a different answer as well.
Yeah, I was watching it and I was thinking, hold on 1 second. And all of a sudden I saw the thing says 1 week later. And I was going, oh no.
It wasn't even like it. Do you know what made me laugh as well? If it had been like before the FA Cup final or before certain games, and then after that game, you can go, all right, he's changed his mind. But it was 7 days apart. There's no United games. There's no reason to change your mind.
Yeah, that's true.
Nothing has changed other than me going, actually, I don't know. And I completely forgot that I'd said that as well. And he told me, I was like, oh, yeah.
Oh, no, you didn't. Do you know what, though, Jay? That reminds me, Monday stitched me big time up. So where were we going? What game were we going? Was it the Watford game or was it the Manchester game? What game were we going on Monday? And the microphone weren't working properly. And I was sitting there and I was doing mic check 1, 2, and I was doing all this stupid thing on the microphone. Yeah. Next thing I went on Facebook the next morning, OMONDI almost rewind it, put
I remixed it. So he's going mic check 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's enough edits. And I've done I don't know if you know Special Ed. I got it made, that beat. Old costume. So I got special solo doing it. I have to post it. I'll post on Twitter tonight.
Oh no, don't do that now.
Hilarious.
You've done him a favor because you don't even need to edit solo most of the time. Some of the things like David Moist. Do you remember that one? The David Moist.
Mr. B actually, but
yeah. What was the other one? Now there was one. Oh, do you know what? There's so many. Where you lot just don't acknowledge it either. You lot just sit there like it's normal, and I'm like, hang on a minute, hold on, what is going on? Yeah, there's always a good little clip of Solo doing the rounds.
Yeah, and you know what the funny part about it, Jay? It's not even I do it on purpose. I just do it, but it's almost like because these guys are so used to me, they don't really acknowledge it. OMONDI is quick and witty, and sometimes like with Mr. B was like, oh okay, but OMONDI is on it. But so OMONDI, sometimes when you're watching it, I can look at OMONDI's face to know OMONDI's already cotton on to what I've said because the whole face expression changes.
Yeah, I always flag it up, bro. I never let it slip under the radar. I'm not normalizing it. That's my thing. I'm not. It needs to be acknowledged and addressed every time it happens.
And that's what we love having.
I think it helps if it makes him sharper because we've let him go. We've let it go. We said, let's not bother with it, you know. But I think when Jay comes on, we get a bit anxious because we know we're going to get called up. We have to be on our
I don't want you sat there on your Sky Sports presenting debut.
I can see where you're going with this.
Yeah, coming out with these riddles that you're talking sometimes and getting trolled mercilessly online by the millions of viewers. I'm not going to have that. So I'm here to look out for you, bro. I've got your back.
Thank you. And guys, listen, I've got 1 or 2 little quiz questions. I'm not going to hit OMONDI with them today because I stitched them up last week with it, Jay. But OMONDI is bringing the quiz show back. I don't know whether it's next week or the week after, but it is coming back. So what I'm going to do before we kickstart the show, OMONDI, would you mind just going through 40 people watching? And also yesterday, guys, thanks to every single person in the chat yesterday. Mr. B asked for 45 likes, and at the end of the show, we had 49. So let's see if we can beat that today. Okay, so make sure you're hitting that.
We're not begging, but it's just like, put it out there.
It helps the channel. Yeah. It helps the channel.
And big up to Stephanie Griffiths. Now, Stephanie's one of our favourites, being a real regular recently. She's saying legend to be replaced by a giant. I think she talked about the goalkeeper situation there. Big T's in the house as well. Said 1 bid gets accepted. Would be nice. Stephanie's saying Jay Motty is a legend. That's irreplaceable. And you get the big thumbs up as well. They love you on the show here. We'll say hi to Jacqueline. He's saying here, good to see us finally making moves. And if we get Onana, then I'm hoping to get a centre forward as well. And that would be a decent window. And he's got a prayer sign. Want to say hi to John Cowell as well. He's saying, why is everyone always late? And that was his fault, I think, this time around. Bath time as well. He's set it up. He's gone to the comments and asked everyone to boo when we come on. And they did actually follow suit. So here we go. Boo. Boo for being late. Boo. I
love the fact you guys go to the comments from before it started when they were moaning about us being late and then read them out.
Big up to Mr. Singh. He's saying Glazers out. That's a common theme here. Tyrone Williams as well. Brian Casey, how you doing? Matthew Backers on the house. And obviously Saturday morning, say bloody Saturday morning, it's Mr. B. He should be on the show, but he's got something to do tonight. Shopping Solutions, hello. How you doing? Yeah. Obviously, Rebel, he hates the Glazers. He's saying 1.6 for Lurd and Iqbal combined. The Croneheads, or he's saying the Coneheads in America needs to have their asses kicked. So he's unhappy about that. Don't know what Jay thinks about that. We'll get onto that soon. King Dino as well, saying Onana will be exciting and scary signing. Obviously, he'd give us a heart attack the way he brings the ball out. Want to say hi to R. Cappy71. Stop mark closes 20 minutes. Glazers may announce within an hour. Fingers crossed. Hopefully, it will happen within the show.
And paint will dry quick as well, right?
Jay Motty in the house again from King Dino. Big up to Jay. Last time talk about Learn as well. 750k, more clubs would have been in for him. Same as Iqbal, market rate. Jacqueline is saying, surely he's a legend. He's won things, great amount of appearances, and won Player of the Year several times. That That's talking about De Gea,
what
isn't
was
it?
that, Jay?
Solo was at it again. Then what was that saying? You
No,
just
I'm
said?
not repeating it. I'm not repeating
I
it.
missed Go on, I can rewind.
No, you can't rewind. It's gone. It's gone. It's forgotten.
Hopefully the Glazers will sell tonight. And Solo went, yeah, and hopefully paint will dry quick.
Quicker.
That famous saying.
Yeah,
hopefully paint will dry quicker.
Yeah.
Last couple here. Dave P, how you doing, man? Big up. Says, didn't Zidane have a 40% sell-on fee and a buyback clause? I don't think the buyback clause is there. It's a sell-on fee, and still not great, but better than just a flat-out 850k. Michael Hill as well is saying here they would have a sell-on agreed and lured as they did with Iqbal, as they did with Iqbal. Bill Badger in the house as well. Colin saying here you were late, terrible guys. I know a show where that's punishable by kissing the Glazers. Rebel can confirm. No, thank you. And Bill Badger obviously saying, of course, we make money on youth players. I don't know how Jay feels about selling off our youth players. Some of them looked promising last year. This time last year, we were raving about Zidane and Lurd.
I was quite fortunate when we were in Australia to spend some time with Zidane. Top lad, really nice lad. And obviously, he showed what he's about in pre-season. Had some very good games in pre-season. Him and Charlie Savage in that midfield. For whatever reason, he just didn't get an opportunity during the season. That he didn't get a loan, didn't get any minutes. It seems at one point like Kobe Mainoo had leapfrogged him. Other players went out on loan. Charlie Savage went out on loan. McNeil, one or two others. Iqbal obviously didn't, and now he's got his move to Utrecht. Obviously, I think he's 20 years old, still a young lad. Bags of potential. I hope he gets to run in the team, gets some minutes. He plays for the Iraqi national team. And from what I don't know him well, but from what I saw of him, he's a lad with his head screwed on. So I really do wish him the best. And Ethan Laird, great player. Him and Brandon Williams back in the day used to absolutely smash it in the academy team. They used to swap over different fullback, swapping over because they could both play on either side. Very attack-minded as well, fullback. Very much a modern fullback. Injuries did for him a lot. He got injured a lot when he was like 16, 17. These injuries that you worry, is that going to scupper him? Then he got fit. Then he had some decent moves. But he just didn't really get those opportunities at United. And you didn't really think, I never thought anyway, he's last year or so, he's going to come back into the team or he's going to make it into the team. So I understand why he's gone. I know people have said like, oh, you know what, the fees aren't right and we should be getting more and stuff like that. But for me, I just hope these lads do well. I do, because there's a lot to like about both of them, and I hope that they crack on, they kick on, and have the careers that the talents deserve. I really do.
Right, Jay, I'm going to ask you this one. This question comes up. I have a couple of them I'm going to hit, but I'm not going to get them on. People in the comment as well. Do you know? It's to me, but I'm going to ask Jay this one.
So Solo was asking Jay, who's the last youth player to leave United that's won a major honour in England?
The last youth player to leave United that's won a major honour in England?
Yeah.
Trying to think.
People in the comment? Anyone in the comment?
Shout out one.
Go on.
Danny Simpson. Are we saying major?
Danny Simpson won the league, didn't he?
Yeah.
When did Danny Welbeck win the FA Cup with Arsenal? How long ago was that?
Was that a major? A long time ago? Nowadays, I think major for me, Champions League and Premier League. But okay, all right. FA Cup would be a major then, and League Cup. But I see them as minor. But yeah, I would say Danny Simpson maybe from Leicester. He won.
Danny Simpson. We had him on the channel. Danny Simpson.
What's he
like?
Won
it in 2016, didn't he? They won it.
15.
Top lad, really nice lad, funny lad. He was. We had him on the Brew, which is a show that we do, and he took it like it's quite a funny show, and you have a laugh with it and all that sort of stuff. And he joined in. He was good stuff. Yeah, he really was. And he seemed dead down to earth. And he was telling us about winning the league. They won the league in 2016, didn't they, at Leicester? And they could have won it at Old Trafford. I forgot that. And he was saying like I think they beat us at Old Trafford. Did they won it there or thereabouts? And I asked him about like when did you start thinking you could win the league? And he said it wasn't until towards the end of the season when they beat City at the Etihad.
Yeah.
He said that Jamie Vardy was the first person to say, you know what, lads, we could do this. And obviously they went on and did it. And it was, it was good to see.
Excellent. So, right, Jay, we're going to talk about goalkeepers and the dilemma that's going on at Manchester United with keepers. Now, obviously, David De Gea, is it the 1st of July is out of contract. And I don't know what, I know you obviously said we're not going to bring it back in the week and what you've done it, but obviously, do you think Manchester United, one, have mistreated David De Gea as a player by offering contract and then withdrawing it? But I heard also, I'm going to ask you a question, I'm going to add some caveat on top of it as well. Oh, I like that one. Big word for me there. The rumor also state it was to do, the reason behind the whole thing was Man United almost put a contract together. His agent then gave it and got him to sign it, but Manchester United physically didn't actually sign that contract, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of what's gone on and what you think about it, it doesn't look great, does it? That's what someone saying there, well, but won the FA Cup with Arsenal. That's what I was thinking of. I think that it looks like pretty shabby to treat a player like that after 12 years in that way. And I think Rio Ferdinand was saying it on Vibe with 5. Obviously, he played with David De Gea, and he said it just seems like, you know, to give him a contract, to get him to sign it, and then to withdraw it doesn't seem like the way you should be treating someone who's been at the club for so long. Now, I don't actually think David De Gea should stay on, and I think it's time for him to move on. I respect what he's done at United. I don't think he's had a particularly great season, and I certainly don't think he's the right guy to play in this system under Erik ten Hag. But I think there's better ways to go about it than the way we have. It just seems a little bit messy, to be honest with you. It doesn't seem like it's very well planned or very dignified. It's like, sign this deal, we're going to offer you reduced terms. He signed it, and then we're going, actually, we're not going to offer you them terms. Now, some people are saying, well, the manager might have seen him in the FA Cup final and decided, nah, that's it for me. And I've heard the argument. I just don't believe, right, Erik ten Hag, who wants to play a certain way, and seeing David De Gea throughout the season, this has been an issue for him. His distribution, his command in his area, coming out of the area. He's been at the bottom 1% for all those things throughout the season in the Premier League. He's been the bottom 10%, for commanding his area and for playing out the back the way that Erik ten Hag wants to. And it's not just the FA Cup final where he didn't have a very good game. If you look back, pre-season, I was at the pre-season games. He had a couple of games where he was at fault for goals and he seemed to be struggling. Brentford, second game in the season, he came out afterwards and said, look, my fault. There was incidents, West Ham, Sevilla. Come on, man. Sevilla, away. Forget about it, man. It's one of the few times I've laughed at a goal being scored against Manchester United, that third one. I thought it was comical. So the signs have been there, and I just don't think that Erik ten Hag's waited until the FA Cup final and then gone, actually, this guy's not for me. I think he's known all along that, okay, I haven't been able to get rid of him last season because I've got other priorities and I can trust him to a certain degree. But I think this season we need to move on, and I just don't see it working with David De Gea. And I think all that happened at the end of the season that was slightly different wasn't necessarily that David De Gea's levels dropped or got worse. I think he missed Lisandro Martinez because Martinez got him out of jail a lot of times. If you look at the distribution out the back, the amount of times Lisandro Martinez will get the ball with the players around him and somehow get out of that and make it work. And other players weren't as adept at that. And also the sort of high-profile nature of the games as well, because you get to the end of the season, the games are like, you know, the FA Cup final is the biggest game of the season, and then City going and win a treble. But I think that Erik ten Hag's got to have known for a little while that David De Gea wasn't his guy. I really do.
Yeah, I wonder, I know you sort of on the channel, you have expressed your concern if David De Gea is Man United sort of number one with obviously the way Ten Hag wants to play the system. But do you think at the moment, the way, how can I put it? I'm not confident that we're going to make the signing that Erik ten Hag wants this season. I'm going to say it there. I'm not very confident with it. And the reason is because it's a roller coaster ride. Who's going to own Man United? Who's not going to own Man United? And is it a case for us? For me, I look at one of the points that we need at Man United right now is a centre forward. OMONDI, goalkeeper or centre forward.
Yeah, both really key positions. As Jay was saying there, he's just highlighting the numerous errors that De Gea has made. And obviously, we've got sentiment. He's been a great player over the years. And last week, Jay was saying he was a great player over the years. This week, he's saying something different, obviously. But it just shows you, it divides opinion, doesn't it? Even on our show, in the comments, a lot of people say, oh, but he's got the most clean sheets. Oh, he's a great shot stopper. But there's a comment here from Brian Casey that says, of the 5 or 6 attributes, you need to be a top goalkeeper. De Gea only has one. which is good, which is shot stopping. Ten Hag's system highlights the gap in his ability, and we requires a full range of abilities to be a top goalkeeper these days. When you watch someone like Onana or the Man City keeper, the Liverpool keeper, these guys are poised. They know what they're doing. They're off their line. It's like it gives you a bit of insurance at the back when we play a high line. There's someone there behind you. It eases up the defenders. And it's really crucial these days because we're missing a whole dimension of play. Like I said yesterday, 30% of our play could be improved by beating the first line of a pressing trap. Do you understand what I'm saying? And playing through that. We're against City. We haven't all season. We've overachieved, becoming third place and not being able to sort of play out from the back. It's just been a struggle for us. We tried different formulas, tried different techniques to get it done. In the end, we were like, kick it out, and relying on Rashford to win balls against these big units, in defence. It's crazy. I think maybe the deal with Onana, when that's been accepted, maybe that's why they've withdrawn the contract and stepped back. It was suggested, as Jay was saying there, that Ten Hag maybe said, let's not give him that money. I've got a deal coming through with one of my ex-players, and he'd be fantastic. Everyone seems to like Onana, and we don't get to see much Italian football, but we saw the Champions League final, and he was distributing the ball really well, helping Inter get into the final third against Man City. Which is, imagine that was us, the way we create chances. I think it's crucial we get a goalkeeper. We're calling you Rebel Solo. I think that's the first. Where should we go next? Get that goalkeeper in, and the striker situation. Look, strikers are special, aren't they? They're a special breed, and I think we should be really patient. Don't just rush out and get anybody. Do we trust the scouts? I'm not so sure. But we've had a look at Highland. At first, I was like, and now I'm a bit like, okay, maybe, but we need someone. I mean, I was saying to Andy the other day, we haven't had someone consistently over the years to score 20 plus goals a season, and when we do, we usually win leagues. I mean, from George Best, when George Best got 20 goals in a season when he was playing football, and it wasn't until Brian McClare came along where we broke that record in the league, And then eventually we had Robin Van Persie, Van Nistelrooy, these main strikers. So it's very rare for Man United to have a top striker, a top number 9. So we have to be really patient and it's crucial when we're signing a top striker like that. We have to be really sort of mindful about making mistakes from the past and getting someone who's going to flop, for example. Because look at where we had Weghorst and Martial as a converted winger playing as a striker for us at the moment. The way we create chances, if we have someone there to finish our dinner, we will be closing that gap big time.
Jay, any sentiment with that one?
Yeah, no, listen, I hear exactly what OMONDI's saying. I think the thing with David De Gea is he's always had issues around his command in his area. I'll speak about a striker in a minute. He's always had issues around command in his area, and he's always had issues around his distribution. But his shot stopping has been elite. He's been one of the best shot stoppers in the world at one point. That's why he won 4 Manchester United Player of the Year awards. That's why he was in the PFA Team of the Year, I think 5 times. He's been in it. But now if you look at his shot stopping, he's in the bottom half in the Premier League for shot stopping. His shot stopping, his save percentage isn't great for, I think it's, I'm not a big, massive stats fan, but if you do look at the stats, they're not kind to him. Like the sort of the expected, the post-shot expected goals, that's the amount of expected goals that he saves. It's less than 1%. He's in the bottom half of that. And then when you get into the distribution and the command in his area, he's in the bottom, for crosses, he's in the bottom 5%. He's in the bottom 10% for that. His defensive actions, he's in the bottom half for that. Touches around the area, he's in the bottom third. It's all very low. And the shot stopping isn't justifying it anymore because you could go, oh, well, he's the best shot stopper in the league. But he isn't. He's in the bottom half of that. And I get to a point with certain players where I know I've sort of, contradicted myself whether he's a legend or not.
He's a legend, in my opinion. Yeah, he's a legend.
I respect him. And when you watch a player stop being that guy and you see it week in, week out, and you see him fading away. You know why we all love Eric Cantona? He never faded away. He left at the top. He left as a Premier League winner. He didn't, his last season, it wasn't terrible. He was banging in goals and he just walked away with his head held high. We didn't have to watch him putting on weight, struggling, running around, missing chance after chance, going, oh, he's not the player he used to be. And sometimes you see players, they do decline in front of your eyes, and it's sad to see sometimes, especially when it's a player you love. And we've seen a little bit of that with David De Gea. David De Gea a few years ago was untouchable. And now when you see certain games, you see after the FA Cup final, the stick he's getting. You see after the West Ham game, the stick he's getting. After the Sevilla game, the stick he's getting. It ain't nice. It's not nice to see for a player that you love and you like. Whether you think he's a legend or not, I think we can all respect him. So I just feel now it's time for him to move on. And Monday was mentioning strikers as well. You know, if we can get a decent striker in, because I don't think Erik ten Hag gets enough credit for what he did last season. I think last season, you look at all the top teams, right? In January, United were on 4 fronts. We weren't looking for the league title, but I think we were 10 points behind Arsenal, 11 points behind Arsenal, but we were at least in the hunt for top 4. That was one thing we were after. We were in the last stages of the Europa League. We still had to play in the FA Cup. We were still in the League Cup. We had Ronaldo had left. And what budget was he given? Nothing. He wasn't given 1 penny to spend in the January transfer window. Yeah. Now you look at the clubs in that January transfer window that went out and spent money. Newcastle spent nearly 50 million. Bournemouth spent 40 million. Leeds spent 40 million. Arsenal spent 40 million. What did Manchester United spend? Nothing. We didn't back this manager. We let the last season's top scorer leave, and we didn't give him any money to replace him. So what did he do? He brought in Wout Weghorst. I know he became a figure of fun, but he had to bring in someone. He did. He had to bring in someone. So he brought in someone he knew he could press and do the things that he wants players to do, other than obviously score goals. He brought in Marcel Sabitzer on a free as well. On a loan. Again, you know, Bayern Munich player, decent midfielder. Injuries probably got the better of him. But I think that's a bit of a miracle that he was managed to have, or not, you know, a bit of a miracle to make that work. Or certainly he was left with a sort of sold a duffer by the Glazers, because he should have been given some budget. We were linked with João Felix, and when it became evident that João Felix was going to cost 20 million, we walked away from that one. Yeah. And the only player he could sign was free transfers and loan moves. It was a joke, man. It was an absolute joke. And I think on Monday it's the nail on the head. If we get a striker in, an actual striker who can lead the line, score goals, it makes such a difference to this team. It absolutely amazes me that Manchester United, a club the size of Manchester United, had to go through basically half a season with no striker, no recognised striker. Because I love Marcus Rashford. He's my favourite player. He's not a 9. He's not. Anthony Martial, constantly injured. Ronaldo, left. Wout Weghorst. Everyone on this podcast right now scored as many Premier League goals for Manchester United as Weghorst did. He just wasn't that guy. So it's like, you know.
Yeah, you guys are right though with it, because obviously we were spoiled under Sir Alex Ferguson, because, you know, I remember like the any signing he want, even like this, go back to the Teddy Sheringham signing. Anyone we wanted, he go and get. You know.
Do you know what? You've nailed it. Manchester United wanted Spurs' top striker, Dimitar Berbatov, Teddy Sheringham. We got him. Yeah. If Manchester United wanted Aston Villa's top striker, he was banging in goals, Dwight York, we got him. We even got Newcastle's top striker in Andy Cole. Admittedly, that was Kevin Keegan losing the plot, but we got him. Leeds, Eric Cantona. You know, we could go out and we could get players from even other than maybe Liverpool and City.
Even Veron, we went out and got in the conversation from Lazio, didn't we? We went out of the blue. We signed him. We got him.
Veron, right? When we signed Juan Veron, he was one of the best midfielders in the world, if not the best midfielder. He just won a Scudetto with Lazio. He'd been integral to that. And we went out and we got him. Like, United could go out and get anyone. And now
Ruud van Nistelrooy
it's not like that. Ruud,
take players. But now
Michael Carrick from Spurs as well. You know, that was a signing that sort of goes under the radar. That was a player that was done very well for them, and obviously came to United and absolutely smashed it. Alan Smith leads, Rio Ferdinand leads. There's loads of ones where you look at it and you go,
Roy Keane Forest.
Roy Keane from Forest, yeah. No, but you know, broke the British transfer record for him and got the deal done. United could do that now, though, and I think it's not just about United. It's the landscape's changed. You've got so many clubs now who've got big money. You've got so many clubs who can offer the possibility of winning trophies. You know, the big sort of hook for Manchester United was, if you come to United, you're going to win the title. Under Fergie, that was guaranteed. You know, it was if you come to United, you sign a 3-year deal or 4-year deal, you will win the title during that time. Like, it's sure as the day is long. And now we can't guarantee that to players. We can offer them. We've got the biggest crowd, we're the biggest club in England. We can offer you big money or whatever, but we can't say you're guaranteed to win a title here.
Yeah, it's very difficult being like a Man United fan, where you look at City they don't really announce too much of who they're getting, but within sort of, you hear City's been linked with this player, and within a few days, City's got that player. Liverpool does the same thing, you know, with McAllister as well, linked with him, all of a sudden got him. We were linked, was it Fabinho? We were linked with for ages as well. And it all of a sudden Liverpool, 24 hours later, Liverpool got him.
I think there was a debate, and you guys probably know more about it than me, that whether Jose wanted Matic over Fabinho. I don't know what the case was there. But some of those deals you look at, like McAllister, I think he had a buyout clause. But Liverpool wanted Bellingham. They knew they couldn't afford him. They knew we weren't going to get him. So they move on. The trouble I have with United is sometimes we don't move on. Like, how long did we spend with De Jong? For what?
We're still going with De Jong as well.
Honestly.
I saw some
Wesley Sneijder, Matt 2.0. It's like, it's still going on.
Yeah.
Like, there's certain transfers you go, okay, that's not going to happen. So let's move on. Let's have a plan B. And sometimes with United, I don't think we do that. I don't think we have a plan B. Where other clubs, you know, Liverpool and you mentioned there, Arsenal even, and even City, right? City, who I can't stand, spend a lot of money. They've got all these 115 charges hanging over their head. We don't know how that's going to pan out. But City will have a limit with players when they go for it. With Cucurella, they walked away from it. They went, nah. With Declan Rice, they walked away from it. Yeah. They had a limit. With Harry, they wanted Harry Maguire and they walked away from it. They had a limit. They wanted Paul Pogba and they walked away with it because they had a limit. They don't just go, right. They spend lots of money, obviously. But if they have a player and they have a limit with that player, they walk away. Whereas United, more often than not, we don't. If we want Harry Maguire, unless they say 180 million, okay, we'll pay it.
We'll pay it. And then the wages on top of that as well.
You want Pogba, you got to pay 89 million. We'll pay it. If Crystal Palace say you want 50 million for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, we pay it. That's been the issue. It's either we've overpaid for certain players or we've pursued players when we should have just gone, nah, this isn't happening. Let's get another target in.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know, Monday, if you agree as well with it, I think for us, we take so long in transfers to get negotiation over the line with. By the time we sort of try to get that one negotiation, all of a sudden, by the second person that we actually linked with, and we actually want that person, time's run out for us because the negotiation takes so long to do. And like what you just said there, Jay, it's almost like limits is having limits. If you set yourself as a sort of like company and you said, right, I'm not going to go out and I'm not going to do this. That's my limit, and that's the most I'm going to go to, and I'm going to stick by that principle. But with Manchester United, it's like there's no principle whatsoever with them. It's almost like because they've made a deal about, oh, we're going to get that player, all of a sudden the clubs then hire the valuation up. So then it seems like they don't want to have egg on their face. So they sit there and go, you know what, we might as well just go pay the higher price point. Because even with Mason Mount deal now, I think we paid 20 million more for Mason Mount than what he's actually worth.
Well, it has to stop. It's been like a decade of disaster with our transfer signings and releasing players as well. I mean, there's so many players I can think of, like Angel Gomez. I felt we could have worked with and got something out of him, you know. And even Lingard, I think he should still be around the squad. We look back at Fergie's day, and there were so many players there we felt were average, but still remained in the squad because they were good enough. They were to be utilised throughout the season, you know. So I think when you compare it to City, they can bring in one player, two players a season because they're a well-oiled machine. They're doing really well at the moment. But it's like, I don't know, say we all three of us are going out tonight for drinks. I know how much my limit is for drinking. So I say, all right, 3 pints, lads, that's me, I'm done. But if I decide to go over that, I'm going to be spinning and be sick for the next week or so and be off work and lose money. And that's what happens when you go out there and you're just reckless with your transfer spending as well. As you're saying there, it's happened to us so many times. So, Jay, you want to step in on that?
Just the point on Lingard, you just reminded me of another thing. It's not just this. We let players' contracts run down all the time. Like, because it's almost like this self-fulfilling prophecy. These players are on huge contracts. No one else will pay it. We can't shift them on. So we end up letting them contracts run down. Look at Jesse Lingard. Jesse Lingard went to West Ham and absolutely smashed it on that low move, right? One of the most productive players in the league. West Ham would have had him. Newcastle wanted him. We didn't sell him. He stays and he doesn't kick a ball. He gets the hump because he's stuck at United. And we're not playing him and he's not going anywhere. And in the end, he leaves for nothing. Paul Pogba's another one. There's talk of him going. He says he wants a new challenge. We don't. We keep him. He ends up not doing anything for his last season. He's injured quite a lot, and the season's terrible under Ralph Rangnick, and he goes on a free. It just happens time and time again, and you think, what is the strategy here? What's the plan? Like, the Lingard one is so baffling to me, because there was a time when he could have gone. He's a lad who'd been through the club academy. He's done well at West Ham on loan. You think, right, sell him. Fine. West Ham give you 15 million, 20 million, whatever. Great. We kept him for no reason. We didn't even play him. We just kept him. And then in January, when Newcastle wanted him, in January, just before before the window shuts, they wanted him. You say, no, we kept him after that. And he still didn't play. It's so strange. Like, what is the strategy here? And I've seen these reports. Sorry,
the strategy for me is, well, the reason I mentioned Lingard is because when I look back at Fergie's teams, they weren't the greatest teams. Arsenal team was full of Bergkamp and Omri and Anelka and all these little European rated players. And we had John O'Shea's of the world, Gary Neville's and that kind of thing. It's the community. We're a community club. We like to have these British-based players or players that are hard work and do the job. I think if you can get players like Lingard on side, I know maybe, maybe he's a party boy, maybe he was bad for Rashford. Who knows? I don't know. But I would look at players like that and say, this is good for the ID, the culture of the club, to have homegrown players in the club and endorse them. He's a Premiership level player. Why do you have to sell him? And again, we're relying on Elanga to come through. Where are the scouts watching? Elanga has proven to be, he's a good player. I'm not disrespecting him, but he's proven to be not of the level. I don't think he'd ever be as good as Lingard. So I just think, why do we sell players that could be around the squad, come on, want to do well for us, love the fans, love them, one of our own, and bring in other players that are not going to be as good enough or don't have that heart and desire for the club? I just don't understand it. And but like I say, that's in the past. I'm confident going through the future now with our new manager. I think we can change those things. And as we see with this signing of amount, as you said 20 million too much. I'm not so sure. I think it's a good deal because we did sort of hold back. He did want to come to us, and it's a good signing. And I think most of the guys in the comments, hopefully we can review this next year and have a look at him and see how good he is, because this is a player that the manager wants and someone who can be really effective to us. Because the way we've been looking at him for the last few days, saying, okay, he can do A, B, and C, give us a box midfield, create more chances up front. We could end up, dominating games with him in there and give us a little bit more edge. So I'm really excited about what's coming. And that signing is just an indication for me that things are changing at the club.
The good thing for me, I was going to say quickly, Jay, the good thing for me with Mason Mount is he's come out. I don't know if it was a public where he came out publicly saying he wants to go to Manchester United, or it was just paper talk, he wants to come. But it's a sign of someone who wants to play for Manchester United. That's the way I look at it. But on the other hand of that, for me, my worry is, yes, you want to come to Man United. Is it a case that Man United pay over the odds on when you're looking at wages? So we've got to look at that as well. Because looking at Man United, I don't know if my figure's going to be right, but I think in the last, say, 12, 13 years, I think our net spend has been something ridiculous, like 74 million euros. That's the net spend for Manchester United compared to sort of...
Per season?
Pardon?
Per season, sorry.
I think, no, it's not per season. It's over the period of time when he breaks it down to the transfers, how much we actually sold. Because everyone we've done, all their contracts run out. We've only sold, I think, like Palestra, we sold, what's his name, to Fulham for like 10 million or something like that. And I think he was at our highest.
I don't think the net spend over the last 10 years has been 73 million. I think the net spend over the last 10 years has been about 900 million. Honestly, we've spent about $1.5 billion.
I'm saying how much money we retained, we got back.
Right. I mean, we brought money we brought in. Well,
yeah.
we never get any decent money. Like, you look at the most expensive player. Look at the biggest transfer fees we've got in. Yeah, I was talking about this on the channel the other day. I was saying how poor we are at selling players. Right, our top 5 or 6 players or whatever. You look at some of the players who are in him. Romelu Lukaku is one of our biggest ever sales. We literally sold him for less than we paid for him 2 seasons after we bought him. Angel Di Maria is one of our biggest ever sales. We literally sold him for less than we paid for him 12 months after we bought him. Yeah, we are terrible at selling players. Everyone looks at Dan James, right, and goes, Dan James is a great example of doing business the right way because we spent 12 million quid on him and we sold him for 25 million pounds. The issue with that is, whilst it's good business and there's nothing wrong with that, he wasn't the bargain that everyone made out, because Leeds went for him in the January for £4.5 million. We bought him in the summer for 12. And trust me, from that January to that summer, he didn't do anything special at Swansea. He scored like 2 goals or something. It's just United came calling and he went, oh, actually, he's not £4.5 million now, he's 12. And United went, yeah, we'll pay that. Now, so even that's not the bargain that it's made out to be. We're just not very good at selling players. We never have been. And when you see like some of our rivals, you'll see the likes of Chelsea, see Liverpool do it. They're quite good at getting rid of the 30, 40 million pound players. We struggle to do that. We don't really do that often. And when the manager needs to sell to buy, which is what we're being told, it's going to become a problem, because you can't keep just wasting money. And I think you have to have some sort of better strategy in place. Though I've got to give on Monday, I've never heard the Arsenal versus United rivalry boiled down to the way you did it before, bro. You literally picked all the best Arsenal players you could think of. And then you were like Bergkamp, Henry, Anelka. And then you piped up as well, Solo. Overmars. I heard you whispering, Overmars. And then you went, we've got, O'Shea and Cleverley and Jones. Just going to ignore the Ronaldos and the Wayne Rooneys and the Michael Carricks, and we'll just focus on them ones.
But you need those guys in the club, don't you?
I know. I get your point. It was funny the way you did it.
Because it's, again, like you said there, it's like when you look at players, and like what Amanda said, the point where still probably we should have, I honestly think we should still have a player like Messi, Lingard, as I call him, around the club. And the reason being is like what you used to have with Sir Alex Ferguson, with the likes of Darren Fletcher, what he used to with Darren Fletcher, the likes where he used to Park Ji-sung as well. Those are the players, basically, big games. When big games came, he relied on those players. Those players step up.
Do you know what it is, though, right? You're right. I love Park Ji-sung. I love John O'Shea. I love those players that would come in and do a job and would smash it in a Champions League semi-final, would turn up in an FA Cup final and help you win the game, would turn up against Arsenal in a top of the table clash and drop a 10 out of 10. Those are the players that... But one thing we always had big stars that you could rely on. You always could turn to someone like a Ruud van Nistelrooy, or you could turn to someone like an Eric Cantona, or you could turn to a Cristiano Ronaldo, and they do the business for you. The trouble for United hasn't been just the fact that we've let certain players go. It's the fact that our big signings, Angel Di Maria, record signing, flopped. Radamel Falcao, a player with so much expectation, flopped. Romelu Lukaku, 42 goals in 96 games, a decent return, but let's have it right. It didn't end well for him. He wasn't a success. Those are the players that are the big ones. Alexis Sanchez, number 7 shirt, 500k a week, got him from Arsenal. He's going to be the one that's going to catapult us towards a title challenge. Terrible player. Those are the players that you need to perform. And then it's all, yeah, you're right, you need the squad and that. But if you're spending, I don't know, 80 million on Romelu Lukaku, whoever it is, and you're selling him within 2 years because he's not good enough, you're going to have issues.
Yeah. And you're right with that as well, because I don't know, again, I saw some bits and pieces rumbling around today as well, sort of like the Jadon Sancho. Now, we spent, 75 million on Jadon Sancho, but the rumor is we're looking to, if we can offload him, about 45 million for Jadon Sancho. Harry Maguire, about 40 million. Now, for me, that's bad business. And I'm going to say it, and I said it on the show previously, Harry Maguire, the money we spent on Harry Maguire isn't his fault, that money we spent on him. But right now in the current climate, I still think Harry Maguire is still a valuation, anything between 60 to 70 million, because he's an England international. He's not playing for Man United, but he plays for England every time England plays the game. So yeah, it's just bad business.
It is bad business. And I think it's like this cycle that we go through where I like Stephanie Griffiths as well, mentioning Clayton Blackmore in the 1991 Cup Winners' Cup final a minute ago, by the way. Yes, great performance. Cleared the ball off the line, we all remember. There's several things that go on. One, we have this cycle where a manager will come in. So someone like Louis van Gaal will come in and go, right, I'll have Schweinsteiger, I'll have Schneiderlin, I'll have Memphis Depay, I'll have Ander Herrera, whoever. Well, Ander Herrera is a different one. I'll have Angel Di Maria or whatever. Then the new manager will come in and go, right, I don't fancy Schneiderlin, I don't fancy Schweinsteiger, I don't want Memphis Depay, get rid of them. Gets rid of him, brings in his own players, Romelu Lukaku, Nemanja Matic, Eric Bailly, Victor Lindelof, whatever. Then another manager comes in, Ollie, and goes, I don't fancy Romelu Lukaku, I don't fancy Alexis Sanchez, get rid of them. And a new manager comes in, Ralph Rangnick. I don't fancy this, whatever. And another manager comes in Ericsson. I goes, don't know about all these lot. I want to bring in this guy. I want to bring in Martinez. I want to bring in Anthony. I want to bring in Casemiro. You just keep going through this cycle of managers that come in and replace the players that the previous manager got, because there's no long-term strategy at United. You see at City, when Pellegrini was the manager, they bought Raheem Sterling, they bought Kevin De Bruyne, because they knew they were going to get Pep Guardiola, and they knew those players could play under Pep Guardiola. At Liverpool, when they had Brendan Rodgers, they were already scouting Mo Salah, because I know Mo Salah, even when he was at Chelsea, they were looking at him because they knew that he was a player that could play in a Brendan Rodgers system, and if they did get Jurgen Klopp, he could play in that system. When they wanted Virgil van Dijk, and I don't love the Scousers by any stretch of the imagination, but they get some things right. When they wanted Virgil van Dijk, you remember they went in for Virgil van Dijk and Southampton wouldn't sell him. They didn't go and get an alternative, did they? They waited another window. They waited till the January, and then they got him. Because they went, he's our guy. We're not messing about. We know he's the one we need. And they went and got him. And when they got all them pieces in place and they knew they needed a goalkeeper, they went out and they got the goalkeeper they needed in Alisson Becker, because they knew, right, this is worth paying a big money for this goalkeeper, because Loris Karius is saying up to it. And if we get the goalkeeper we want, we can win the Champions League and we can win the title. And they did. Yeah. There's a strategy there that you just don't see at United. You don't see any long-term planning. It's like one manager loves big, powerful, strong, quick players. Another manager likes smaller players, likes to play it differently. One manager wants to play certain styles, so he brings in players for that. Another manager likes a completely different style. It's like what Everton do. Everton do that. Everton go from the likes of, Roberto Martinez to Big Sam or Ronald Koeman. Yeah, they go from one style of football to a completely different one. Yeah. And you end up just getting unstuck because you're trying to bring in different players to suit the different styles. You need a bit more strategy in place. You need a sort of someone maybe overseeing the managers who can go, right, this is what we're going to do. And if this manager doesn't work out, this is the next manager, and these players can play for the next manager. Now, I think Erik ten Hag is the right man for the job. I think if we back him properly, he will be a success at Manchester United. But we need to plan ahead. And if it means planning ahead with this manager, we might have to do that. We might have to even say, look, we're not going to win the league next season. I don't think we will. I'm not saying we write it off, but it's very difficult because of the levels. So let's get in players that are going to be around here for 3 or 4 years. Let's get in players that in 2 years' time are still going to be good enough for Manchester United. Let's not get in the 37-year-old Ronaldo or the 33-year-old Edinson Cavani or the 34-year-old Odi Nagalo or the 35-year-old Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I know he went on to play a lot more seasons, but let's stop all this short-termism and start thinking ahead a little bit, because there's just no forward planning.
Well, if we don't get a striker, we could probably put it out there and we could go and get Aubameyang who? that's the next one.
I worry with you sometimes whether you're joking or not.
That's what the Arsenal fans call him. That's what they do. They got Aubameyang who? Mate, that's the Arsenal fan. This is a London thing here. It's a London thing.
Oh, is it? He had a shocker, didn't he, at Chelsea?
Yeah, he did. It was terrible. But it wouldn't surprise me if Man United can't afford a striker and then decide to go plan F with him or something like that. Stupid. So that's how the clubs run at the moment. Amanda, would you mind, please, sir?
Well, going through the comments, yeah. So
yes, please.
We were talking about players and selling players and that kind of thing. Sean, how you doing? He said Maguire out. So we agree on that. Dan James scored more goals than Martial that season. Said red or dead. How you doing, man? We've got Clayton Blackmore. This is a great comment. Jay loved this one. Jay, didn't you know Clayton Blackmore, don't you? Or you've talked about it this game, haven't
you? We love on the brew with Steve. We always love talking about the 1991 Cup-Winners' Cup final. Yeah. And Steve always says he had Clayton Blackmore on the channel once. And he said to him, like, oh, Clayton, you've worked with the young players. Lad Mason Greenwood coming through. He looked, banging in loads of goals in the academy. He looks amazing. What a side of a player is. How good is he? And he was like, yeah, he's good. And Steve's like, winning the 1991 Cup-Winners' Cup final, that must have been amazing. Beating Barcelona, Johan Cruyff's Barcelona team, lifting that first European trophy. What was that like? Yeah, it was... He just said he was just like one-word answers. One of them ones. But yeah, Clayton Blackmore was...
He's one of those players that we need. Every side needs, and great free kick taker, wasn't he? Kerwin saying here, Pogba was a flop as well, and Sancho feels he's flop as well. Want to read out this comment from Naval. Am I pronounced that correctly? We can't afford Mount, Onana, and Kane in the same transfer window. The players we want to sell, we can't offload. Kane in this team is more impactful than Rashford, but only works if we bring in Kane. Good comment there. Talking about prices, Harry for 40 million says Ken Moy. We've got Michael Hill saying, did you say Maguire's worth 60 million? Kind of shocked by that. Rebel saying no one's given us 60 million for Maguire with the incompetence we display in the market. We have a joker reputation on transfer negotiations, which is true. Mr. Pontus is saying here we should be signing De Jong. That was all last year. So 2022. We've got Stephanie Griffith saying here, Ewan Ferguson, the Irish boy from Brighton, would be good for us, but it would cost. Brighton have tied it up for a long-term contract, so it would cost a lot of money as well. And Shopping Solutions is saying here, we love complaining, don't we? We do. And there's one more comment I wanted to bring up. This one from Rebel. He's saying, like, share, and subscribe, please. I don't know how many guys can you let me know. Yesterday we got 45 or 49 likes, and we was just, it was unexpected. We weren't begging it, but we were really overjoyed by that. How many? There's 66 watching right now. How many likes have we got in the comments right now? If you haven't liked it already, give us a like, please.
Yeah. Quick one, Jay. I know we're gonna jump off now, but this is to you because people have seen this one. People have seen this one.
Thoughts of the fast of Take's contracts. Why you're on a different turf? This is like home turf, this, bro. Thoughts on the fast of Take's contract. What kind of thinking? Yeah, we talked about that earlier. It's just not. Yeah. It doesn't look great, does it? The way it's been handled, and you want to see David De Gea leave the club, in a dignified exit, getting the acknowledgement and the respect that he deserves. Not sort of it ending up like this, where it's all a little bit distasteful, and probably could have been handled in a better way. And if we had a strategy, an organisation, and a plan, it probably would have been. But we seem to be lacking at those things at Manchester United Football Club. Lads, I'm going to have to shoot off. Sorry, I've got one pick my lad up. Yeah. But I've loved it. As always, if you join me from Stretford Paddock, make sure you're subscribing to these lads, yeah? I love coming on here for a reason. It's always a good chat. And I'll come on again soon. I think Andy Tate comes on here as well. So you're always going to get us lot on here. So make sure you subscribe to United Agenda and hit that like, man. I'm not going to come back on here if I find out we got fewer likes than Mr. B. I am not having it. I'm just answering Brian Casey there. Brian, I'm looking forward to all of them, but because I'm going on the pre-season tour in the US, but I'm looking forward to coming over to Dublin as well. I think Brian might be there, unless I'm getting that mistaken. So, yeah, someone's saying I've been sacked from Paddock. Listen, they need me on there so they can keep trolling me with them Twitter clips.
Jay, everyone, thank you, Jay. Really appreciate it.
Take care.
Thank you, Jay. Big up. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Right, I'm on we just go through some of these comments.
It's all, they're talking about the Dublin game. Obviously, Rebel's going to be around. He's an Irishman. We've got big up Jay from Stephanie Griffiths as well. Kindly smash the like and subscribe.
Thank you.
Miguel, how you doing, Miguel? Nice to see you on the show again. Want to say hi to our Cappy71. Saw you yesterday on the show. Welcome back. He said, "Dad, my man, like and subscribe. Appreciate that, man.
Appreciate it.
Really do." Like I was saying, we've got Ludo7 here as well. So Jay, big up SP Stretford Paddock. That's right, the best channel out there for Man United. They're fantastic, aren't they? And we really do appreciate Jay volunteering his services. He comes on, great friend of Solos, and comes on and really supports our channel for free, for nothing. So we love you, Jay. We really do appreciate that. It helps us a lot.
Thank you. And guys, as you said, we are going to have another show straight after this one in half an hour, Mr. B, the Friday night takeaway. So make sure, thank you, Stephanie. 53 guys likes in the chat. There's 59 watching. Let's go. Let's see if we can get up to 60 before we jump off the channel. So on Monday, right, we didn't even get into the second topic, but we're not really going to get into the second topic. And that's because I think you and Jay are probably sick and tired of talking about the ownership of Manchester United. I know Rebelly's going off on one end at the moment about in the chat as well, as always. But guys, listen, it's been a pleasure tonight having Jay on Monday on as well. I don't really show my face that much around, but I think I might be back on Friday again. I'm not sure. I should be back Friday. I think I've summoned Bath Time to come on Friday night with me. He's allowed lots of ice cream if the weather is nice. So I believe he will be on the Friday night with me. But guys, make sure every single night these guys go live, apart from maybe Saturday and a Sunday. So Monday to Friday, they go live unless there's a game on Saturday and Sunday. So make sure you're liking, sharing, and subscribing.
This Rebel saying here, how long do you reckon I could hold Joel Glazer upside down by his ankles over a cliff, like in was it the Commando? Said,
Yes.
with Scotty, I had to let him go. Bam! Love that. I love those lines. Arnie had the best one-liners, didn't he?
Yeah. I'll be back.
Cool off when was it Commando who kills the guy? Yeah, he said, yeah, he had to cool off or something like that. Yeah. Killer lines. And he was dead tired when he had the bodyguard with him on the plane, and he knocked him out. Bam! And put his hat on. And he was dead. So don't disturb my friend. He's dead tired.
you're saying that though, because I was watching Clint Eastwood the other day. I was watching one of his old movie the other day, and it's what was the Western one? This is what is it? Something Magnum, and there's
that's the Dirty Harry.
Dirty Harry one, yeah.
I think Rebel dropped that the other day. He dropped the line about Dirty Harry. Make my day, punk.
Make my day, punk. Yeah. And then Bruce Willis.
Oh yeah. What was this one?
Welcome to the party, pal.
Yeah, that's right. And Dave, you got it. Let off some Steve Bennett. Classic line, man. Love that. You know what? What's so cool about it? Because one day in your life, you're going to be in a situation where you can drop it. And if you can drop it, it's cool as that. I'm not saying throw poles through people's chests and that kind of thing, but one day you might be in a situation where you can drop one of those Arnie lines coolly as well and walk away. And these days with mobile phones, someone might record it and you could become like, that guy's so cool. You know, so I'm waiting. I'll have to keep them logged up here. Yippee-yay, motherfuckers. That's Drum Rebel. Yeah, big up, man. Big up.
Absolutely brilliant.
But you got to ask one question, punk. That's Errol.
Yep. Yeah, that's it. Guys, as I said, thank you all for watching, liking, sharing, and subscribing. We'd like to say a massive thanks to Jay. I believe, if I'm right to say, I'm not putting information out, misinformation, but if I'm right to say, you will have Andy Tate back on Monday night with the guys as well. So make sure you're checking them out. 50 at the moment watching. Mr. B is on the Friday Night Takeaway, so make sure you guys go and join him as well. I don't know how many likes we've got, but we are going to come off. But guys, make sure you liking, sharing, and subscribing to the Man United Agenda. And for
last is big up to all the channels out there, the content providers, creators. Sorry, that's Eddie, that's Red Devil TV, all the guys. I don't know who else. The Realist Brigade as well. Go and subscribe to all them guys. We're a community. We support each other, and everyone's doing a great job.
Mickey Ruby is in the building as well. Mickey Ruby is there as well. Go check him out.
Ruby, man, yeah, big up Mickey Ruby, bro.
So
and
guys,
all you guys that support us, we really do appreciate it. I mean, we're better than mainstream TV. Who wants to watch these millionaires come on there and endorse them? Endorse us, guys. Thank you.
Brilliant, guys. So for us at the Man United Agenda, we'll see you at 10 o'clock. I'm going to go and cheat and see if I can see if Mr. B's doing any quiz or anything like that.
Tell me what you think of Mr. B's outro. We saw the intro.
Oh God, I'm going to do the outro. Yeah, let me make sure I've got it right, because earlier I had to ask you for it. It's just bad how I don't know anything on it anymore. It's been so long, but guys, listen, it's been nice tonight anyway. So from us, we really appreciate all the help, all the support, guys. And as what Rashford would do, it's all about the mental. Good night.